So how long are we waiting for?
I'm actually using New York time, so I don't know what time it is over there. So
interesting. Oh, sugar.
Where you did? Which time bridge did your back?
I did New York, my dad.
yeah, but
don't know how far.
You this baby, you know keep person. You don't go keep person.
At first, I thought she was one correspondent, senior correspondent in CNN, reporting from New York.
Hey, it's a serious matter. Hey, that's cool.
Okay, before 5, about 4:50 exactly, when I joined, I saw 2 people online. That's what's this lady? This lady that has bar. What was her name? Ruth.
Foma.
Yes, I saw a Foma and another guy online. So they said they're going to, since we've not started, that they're going to come back.
Okay.
Right now, for people. Chidi, before 5, can you? Is it possible for you to share the screen for me now? Is it possible?
To share screen? You can share screen.
Yes.
Yeah, but you need to allow people. Yeah, because
there's no restriction on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no restriction. Share screen.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Okay. So, hold on. Let me see.
You just wake up. No, like you sleep, baby. 2 minutes, you have wake up.
I just follow the do.
Just sleep. No. I never read 5 minutes. So I never rest since morning. All of them won't finish me.
And the work they do.
So what are you seeing now, Blackberry?
I can still see everybody's video and name.
Okay. What are you seeing now?
I can still see you. I'm not seeing your screen.
Okay. I'm actually opening the root screen. Maybe everybody can see it. I want a situation where if somebody's asking something, we can all see the person while the person is asking a question or something.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So I can see I'm doing gallery view, so I can see everybody connected on the screen.
Okay. But we too can see that person. Like if you have somebody saying something, so that every other person can see the person.
Yeah, sure.
Questions.
Sure. So
right.
It's automatic. Whoever is speaking would, if you're doing speaker view, whoever is speaking will automatically appear in your screen. But if you do view, you will see everybody, and then the video or the profile of the person speaking will be highlighted, so you know exactly who's speaking.
Good to see you, officer.
Is it?
Good to see you. Okay, I think we can start now.
Okay.
Lida is online. Lida is online already. I can see Lida. Lida, what's up?
I'm cool, baby, and you?
Longest time.
No, CEO. How my baby now?
Fine, no. See him here.
Hey, baby.
Sleep, you will not sleep. Look, guys, is that we are still waiting for others to join in or what?
Somehow.
Okay, we should give them to like 15 minutes past 5.
So 10 minutes past.
It's almost 10 minutes. We just have
It's
2
10
minutes
minutes
left.
past already.
Oh, it's not 10 minutes. This is 7 minutes past.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, I said I'm using
Your
time, so I'm
your
not too
time,
sure.
man.
I said that before now. You guys should understand.
Okay,
you're in a
start from an
francophone country.
announcement.
I don't understand.
Francophone in a beggar.
It's what we can talk about.
Okay, let's just go to the platform again and announce it.
Don't just mention beggar like that. Say beggar, GRA.
Oh, sorry, sir.
The beggar GRA. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Oh. Where is Ugo now? I thought
so-
Ugo was asking just now if the meeting is on.
Ugo is still doing baby's birthday, so.
It was yesterday, not today.
Okay. So 1 minute. We can start. You can start 1 minute from now.
Okay. Sorry, let me take permission now. President, I might be off and on. My kids are a bit strong.
Like you'll be offing your phone and be on it for what?
At times, I might just pause it and I'll check on them and I'll be back. They are down. Lide, please mute your speaker.
All right. Let me mute it, Jerry.
So we'll know your love story.
Okay, let's start. Blackberry.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's good to have you here again. So, 2 weeks ago, we had an open house where we basically laid the foundation for what we'll be doing going forward. The idea is to have a platform where we can discuss, learn, and unlearn things with respect to our personal development, our business, our finance, and the likes. So 2 weeks ago, we had basically an interaction where we had people throwing questions on what bothered them the most at that point in time. And there were inputs from the house. We covered topics like starting a business, businesses that would flourish post-COVID, how we would survive in the new normal. Someone else brought up the idea of business financing, personal financing, which I did say that we would, as time go on, touch on. Today, however, we'll be looking, or rather this month, we'll focus on innovation. So we looked at the flyer that the president has shared. He had said, let's innovate. Innovation is something that is very important, especially considering that we have a new normal. If we really want to make it, if we want to leave a mark, then we have to do something out of the ordinary. People say innovation. I mean, innovation is one topic that a whole lot of people seem to know about, but at the same time, they're very ignorant about it. Why? Because it's almost difficult to actually define innovation. Some people would say that innovation is doing something new. bringing up a new idea, starting up something new that nobody had done before. However, a different school of thought has told us that innovation does not necessarily mean bringing up a new idea. However, it has to do with improving on an idea that is already existing. I will from time to time share my slides as I take us through the concept of innovation. I mean, me to ask, I would want to get your view. So what does innovation mean to you? If someone walks up to you today and say, innovation, please explain this to me. What does innovation mean to you? If you would want to contribute, you can use any of the virtual icons to either raise your hand or give a thumbs up so that I would know that you have something to say. What does innovation mean to you? You're also free to type your response in the chat box. What does innovation mean to you? I would want to get our input. I don't want to start calling names.
Hello.
Okay, TJ.
Okay, so simply put, innovation means doing things differently. So first of all, how do you do things differently?
Can you speak up because you're sounding very faint?
Oh, sorry. How is it better now? Is it better now?
Yes, better. Yes.
Okay, so I was saying innovation actually means doing things differently. I mean, so we all know that whatever idea you bring up, somebody is already doing something. So innovation means identifying the challenge, then find a solution to it. A solution that has never been, that has never been created, and doing it in a very different way. And even sometimes maybe scaling up. So I mean, with that, and particularly adding technology to it. So that's what I feel, simply put, innovation means.
Thank you very much, TJ. That's a very brilliant input. Okay, so TJ has basically given us an insight into what innovation means, right? So like you said, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Right. So you can see, you see that image there, that this quote was by Thomas Edison. I'm sure we know who Thomas Edison is. And I assume that we know who he is or who he was. He was an American inventor. Right? So Thomas Edison, he's known for his exploit in innovation in terms of electricity, so electric power generation, right? Communication, sound and motion. He was an inventor. And he had said that there is a way to do it better, find it. Just like TJ said, there's any idea you come up with today, someone definitely in the past or even currently had done it or come up with that idea. Innovation is what sets you apart from that already existing idea. And my boss will always say that there's something that kills innovation, culture. Because if you have a strategy, for example, to do something, culture is what will deal with it. Why? Because people always say, oh, this is how we do it. Oh, no, that's how we do it. Human beings, an average human is averse to change. Anything that would bring about change in a person's life, be sure that 90% of the time, that person would oppose it. So it's like you say, oh, you have to come resume work at 8 a.m., for example. And then all of a sudden, maybe because of one sort of activity that needs to happen, then you're told you need to resume work at 7:30. You find that people would oppose that idea of resuming at 7:30. Or You're used to working with a desktop, and all of a sudden, you're told you'd have to change to work with a laptop. An average person would initial reaction would be to say no. Why? Because you're already in your comfort zone. You're already comfortable working with a desktop. Moving to a laptop, you need to unlearn everything you have learned and begin to relearn working with a laptop. Like I said, it's a culture, it's strategy for breakfast. Always, every time that happens. And 70% of all organizational efforts fail. Not because they do not put in their best, but because people would tend to oppose change. People would always, most times, prefer to continue to do things the way they have done it. Why? Maybe because they feel that the current way works for them. So what's the point changing it if it's not broken? A new idea is delicate. It can be killed by a snare or a yarn. It can be stabbed to death by a quip or worried to death by a frown on the right man's brow. So if you're going to innovate, if you're going to change things, it's not a one-man business. It's not a one-man transaction. So if you're running a business, for example, you need to think it through and through, end to end, because it's not just about you. It's about the people you're delivering that service to. So if, for example, you're running a school and then in the new normal, you need to move from the brick and mortar to the digital space, you are not going to go about it thinking about how you would want it to play out. Rather, the best thing to do is to seek the opinion of the end users. And this will be your students or their guardians or their parents. You need to seek out what works for them, because obviously the service you're going to be rendering has to make sense to them. Otherwise, you would fail from the start. Now, defining innovation, it's something new, something that adds value for stakeholders. It's something that can be monetized. It creates a competitive advantage and it's sustainable until that advantage is eroded. So for as long as you enjoy the benefits of that new idea, of that improvement on an existing idea, you're innovating. But be sure that a time will come when your innovation will become a norm, such that you would then need to innovate again. Innovation improves on or makes a significant contribution to something that has already been invented. They had mentioned this. Innovation is knowledge that is converted to wealth. It is the successful exploitation of new ideas, the creation, development, and implementation of a new product, process, or service with the aim of improving efficiency, effectiveness, and creating an advantage. Note that whatever idea you come up with, you cannot call it an innovation until you've implemented it and it actually works. Innovation is not also just the concept of a new idea or the invention of a new device or the development of a new market. No, it's the process of these three things working in synergy. They have to be integrated to produce innovation. So you can only say you've innovated or you're innovating if you're coming up with a new idea, developing a new product or a process or a service that would lead to the development of a new market or the improvement of an already existing market. Does that make sense to us? Does that make sense? Are you still with me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes, yeah, we are here.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about types of innovation. Now, if you look, you see a matrix. Markets against technology. So for markets, it's either new or existing. The same thing for technology. Now, if it's a technology that is already existing and the market is existing and you do something new on it, that's incremental innovation. That means you're building on something that is already existing. If the market is new and the technology is existing, it's architectural. Why? Because you provided a service or a product that is already existing to a completely new market. It's disruptive if the technology is new and the market is already existing. I'll give us examples of this kind of innovation. And then it's radical if both the market and the technology is new. Right? Now, explaining this matrix, incremental has to do with the gradual and continuous improvement on existing products and services. So for example, say you're running maybe a laundry business. A laundry business is already existing. A lot of people run that. If, however, you go the extra mile to say, oh, all my competitors, their customers have to come to their offices to drop their clothes. If as a business person, you think, okay, so what do I do to get the edge, to get a competitive advantage over my competitors? And you decide to say, okay, you know what? I would do pickup and I would deliver to you. Now, the service is already existing. The market is already existing. That product, that service, laundry, is already existing. What you've done is you've built on an already existing product. So you are offering a service that you are not offering to your customers. That's the advantage you have over them. So that is incremental innovation. Now, the sustaining or the architectural is a significant improvement on a product that aims to sustain the position in an existing market. Now, here, the market is already existing. The product in itself is new. So you're already existing in the market, for example. So I give you an example of a Coca-Cola. Say, oh, they're number one in terms of, soft drinks and Coke. And then you have other companies that are coming up that are producing bottled waters. Coca-Cola looks at it and say, you know what, so I already provide drinks, carbonated drinks too. If I want to maintain my number one position, I have to also think of how to provide a good or product that is completely new to me. Now, to the market, bottled water is not new. However, to Coca-Cola, that's a new product that they're offering to the market to make sure that they maintain their position as the number one in the market. It's like Coca-Cola also moving from bottle to can to say, you know what, okay, so we're all talking about keeping the environment clean, green, everybody's going about green. Sustainability is the word for the day. I say, okay, how do I ensure that I key into the sustainability business? So you innovate. So instead of doing cans, you decide to say, okay, you know what, I'll do bottles. So I do plastic rather, so that I can recycle. And those plastics can be reused. That's an innovation that ensures that they stay as number one in the market. Disruptive has to do with a new technology and an existing market. Disruptive. So now banks are all going digital. At the point where banks began to go digital, that's a disruptive innovation. So if now you need to walk into a banking hall to transact, you use papers, you fill paper. You have papers in triplicates, you have to fill, you detach this, you put this here, you give this. It was cumbersome. And then all of a sudden, somebody comes up in there to say, you know what, You can stay in the comfort of your home to transact. It's not need to come to me. Let me bring it back to you. It's just like school to say, you know what, you don't have to come to the building. Let me bring school to you. All it took us is have a communication. So you have internet. Bring it to you. Bringing my products to you. Oh, I run a business. I sell clothes. You know what? You don't need to come to the market. Let me use my social media. Oh, I'm on WhatsApp. I will send you my goods. Look through, select what you want. I'll have it delivered to you. That's a disruption. Radical. This one is rare. You would hardly, I mean, in this agent time, it does happen, but it's rare. Radical, new markets, new technology. There's hardly any markets now that is new. But think about when the girls came with the concept of Microsoft. People probably thought the guy was mad. That was a radical innovation. The time when Zuckerberg came, oh, Facebook, you know, people get to communicate, like, are you okay? That was a radical innovation. Because at that point, the market didn't exist. He created that market and created a product. Now, a whole lot of other people are leveraging on the market and coming up building. Now you see, if you look at Instagram, you see by Facebook. If you look at WhatsApp, by Facebook, what is Facebook doing? Maintaining innovation to make sure that they maintain their position as the leader in terms of social engagement. Now, the dynamics of innovation, I told you that the disruptive is basically, because radical is almost maybe like 1%. So incremental, 70% of the innovation we see today is incremental because there are changes to already existing products, to already existing services. Sustaining innovation.
Can you hold on? Sorry, please. Can you please hold on? Sorry, please. Let us mute our microphone. You can hear some background noise and it's distracting, please. Let's ensure we mute our microphone, please. All right, go ahead.
Right, thank you. Sustaining innovation is about 20% of the innovations we see today, while disruptive is about 10%. Let me ask a question just to be sure we're following. Can someone give me an idea of an incremental innovation that you've experienced or that you've actually carried? Maybe it's in your business or a business, something you're aware of. Anyone? An incremental innovation.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Yeah. We run a laundry business. Also, recently, what we do for if you bring clothes that is what 2,000 naira and above, we as when you come to collect your clothes, we do of Coke to it you again, and we give discount from 10 clothes above. There's a discount of 1% for each clothes. So if you are giving 10 clothes, that means you are getting 10% discount for what you have brought in. And this is not what we used to do before, because we can see that the business is not forthcoming due to the situation on ground. And again, we go for pickup and delivery. We go as far as Egbeda, Ikeja, so it depends where you are calling from. And we don't make it with, normally if the transportation is supposed to be 1.5, we ask you to bring 1,000 naira. We make it a little bit lesser for you, and we make the stress. We make it easy for you. We come to pick up and we deliver also. And adding that Coke is just for you to like a little appreciation, say thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you for that input, Ruth. Does any other person have an input on incremental innovation? Vivian?
Okay, Tijani here.
Okay, hi TJ.
So, Chidego, when you say incremental, are you referring to incremental in terms of the reach, like the number of customers, or in terms of the quality of the product or service delivered? What's particularly referring to as incremental?
So that would
I'm
depend.
sorry if I
That would
missed out.
Okay, so that would definitely depend on the product, on what your business is about. For me,
Okay.
it's about the addition the addition to your business, your product or service,
Okay.
category
Okay.
that gives
Okay.
you an advantage over your competitor.
Okay, beautiful. So
Okay.
in that regard, so I would want to refer to the this dairy products like cowbell, peak milk. So I know when cowbell said they were doing tin and all of that, and then at some point they moved to sachet. So sachet milk, everybody knew it was just basically for cowbell and one other product, I can't remember the brand. So, but peak milk, everybody knew that peak milk was for the high-end people and all of that. And then somehow they realized that people are not patronizing them that much. So they decided to come down to the sachet level and all of that. So they now have a lot of reach. I don't know if that works for incremental innovation.
Okay. So
Yeah,
in this
I
point, that's an
have a typical
innovation.
example as well.
Okay.
I have an example. Yeah, this is Vivian. Just like my product, we sell services. We also deal on properties too. And normally our mortgage interest rate for houses owned by us, we call it internal mortgage, is usually 20%. But getting to a particular area, like say example in a camp, we have so many other mortgage institutions too. We go there, people tend to tell us, oh, the Hagai does at 17%, other mortgage banks do at 15%. So when we sat down, we thought of doing something or coming up with something, and we came up with, okay, let's have 18% interest rate. And then we also worked on the duration, and we're like, okay, 18% interest rate, and let's also bring down the number of years that the mortgage will serve you. I think that's also an incremental innovation, considering our competitor in the camp.
Okay. All right. So that definitely gives you an edge over your competitors in that area.
Competitors exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So the whole idea of innovation is, at the end of the day, it converts whatever idea you have into wealth for you. So there's returns on that idea.
Yeah.
It's not just about coming up with an idea and implementing it. It has to yield returns. Now that might not be immediate, but the fact is, as you go on, you would see returns from that that idea or the implementation that you have come up with. That's very good. Okay, so that's great. All right. Does any other person have any inputs before we continue? Okay. All right. So there are what we call phases. There are phases of innovation, right? From the point where you think about it, you develop the idea, because innovation does not just happen. You have to actually brainstorm. You have to think. You come up with an idea. When you come up with that idea, you analyze it to determine whether or not it's visible or it's implementable. So you weigh it against the market or what's already existing. Like, is this new? No.
Please, Chido, please hold on. So who is there now? Mute your stuff. Let's hear. The background noise is getting too much. Let's hear the speaker.
I think it is.
Okay.
All right, please go ahead, Chidera.
All right, okay. So from the idea, from the brainstorming point to the analysis of the idea, down to developing it, and then putting it out to the market. These are the phases. So you cannot start, just think about an idea and get to the concept point and believe you have innovated. No, you actually have not, because you need to implement that idea, push it out to the market, and see its yield returns. So the end point of innovation is the returns. If you push an idea, because some ideas you actually push it, you come up with an idea, you feel I've innovated, it goes out to the market and it's a flop. Nothing comes out, there's no return. So you don't even get any kind of feedback, whether positive or negative. Sometimes when you innovate, the feedback you get from the market is, so the market either isn't ready for it, or you have put it out to, or you've put out the wrong product. If this happens, that means there's been an error at the point of the solution. So you thought of the idea, you analyzed it, you implemented it, you did not actually do that testing, the check and balance with the market to determine whether or not this is something that we sell. So taking Ruth's example, so if I take Ruth's business and what she has done, the laundry business, for example. So you've thought about, okay, so going to do pickup and deliveries. If that idea had come up, so you've looked at it, so how does this play out? You've worked out the whole dynamic. Okay, so maybe I have someone who would do this one for me. There's someone who would do the delivery and the pickup for me at a reduced charge. The person might probably charge 500 or 700. The typical default rate for deliveries maybe is 1.5, and I say, you know what, pay 1,000. If that check and balance was not done, you did not weigh your customers' feedback. You did not weigh your customers' feedback. Let me use the word feedback. You actually did not weigh to know whether this is something that will work, or you not even check the market to know whether or not it's sustainable for one. So you do it the first week. Maybe your customers, they're excited. The second week, you realize that, you know what, I can no longer continue with this. Or you push the idea of, okay, you know what, for every service, for every order above 2,000, you get this. Some people would be averse to getting, some people like that, of course, everybody likes a move and all that. If you give people, they will take. But there are people who are averse to such gesture. So if you do not wait to check on whether or not this is something that will fly with customers, and then you put it out there, and the feedback is a negative one, then of course that's a flop. What you then need to do is what? Go back to the drawing board to begin to rethink, okay, so how do I tweak this? Now, the whole concept of innovation is not, I always tell people, it's not one size fits all. You cannot always get it right the first time. The inventors that we know today, people who feel have innovated, if you get to talk to them, they will tell you that they failed several times until they got it right. And it's sometimes something that most people, when it comes to innovation, some people will outsource it. Some people will believe, it belongs to a particular group of people in the company or in the business. You know what, okay, it's not for me to think through. It's for Mr. A to actually think through of ideas to move the business forward. There are a whole lot of things when it comes to do with innovation. Some positive, some negative, right? So moving on from here, I'll talk about the challenges now. What are the challenges of innovation? Some people miss the whole concept of innovation. They get it wrong. And innovation helps you to be proactive. So you're not laid back. Your business is not laid back. You're seeing change and you're adapting to that change. An innovative business in this new normal would definitely be above board. So when DJ talks about his school moving from the brick and mortar to the digital space, that tells me that is an innovative business. Why? Because it's not all schools at this point that have moved to the digital space. Some people are reactive. Those businesses are reactive. Why? Because they do not get the concept of innovation. Innovation is not, a great idea, let's put it, nobody has done this. No. Even the slightest addition to your business It can be as little, just like I said, as little as moving from your customers dropping off their clothes for washing to you doing pickup and delivery. It can be as little as that. Somebody might look at you like, there's nothing there. But that is an innovation because you thought it through, you implemented it, and it's yielding returns on you because it gives you an edge over your competitors. For some people, those who work with them in their businesses are not motivated or empowered because they believe that, you know what, so if I use a school, for example, the teachers, so like, you know what, I already have so much on my plate. Why do I have to think about ways to move the school forward? Why do I have to think about ways to actually make it easier for me to teach students? Now, as a teacher, the fact that you were taught A for apple in your days and you have to write on the board with chalk and coal does not mean that you need to do the same thing. I saw something on I think it was on Instagram some days ago. They say, we're bringing reading to life. So you see teachers who sort of begin to animate their book. So you're reading, maybe Eze goes to school. Permit me to use that example. Eze goes to school. Eze goes to school. He is 10 years old. You put two different teachers. So one just with Eze goes to school. He is 10 years old. He lives blah, blah, blah. And then you get someone else who actually goes that extra mile to become Eze, who is going to school. You find out that just put these two people together and then you keep the same set of students. The fact is that the students would definitely prefer the ones who comes Eze and goes to school. Why? Because he or she has gone the extra mile to actually give life to that character. So that's an innovation in teaching. For the person who runs a business, so you have a bar, for example, right? And I mean, people who want to drink would not, some of them will not mind where. Right? It's chilled and they have friends to discuss with. Some people are like, oh, sorry, there's no light. An innovation for you might be as little as, oh, you know what, there's no light in my area. All these other people probably don't mind. They probably will be selling drinks, maybe not hot, but it's cold. An innovation for you might go the extra mile. If you don't have a generator to say, you know what, let me go get blocks, put it, or get a butter and put these drinks in water so that it stays. That would be your innovation. Your innovation could be putting an umbrella over their heads so that they can sit around the table and have their conversations without fear of, oh, sun or rain or wind. That could be your innovation. Another challenge of innovation is that it takes place in one group alone. So I said it, some people just believe it's for a particular set of people to begin to come up with ideas. If you're in a school, it's not just for maybe your research and development. All the teachers, even the students, can come up with ideas to push your school and give you a competitive advantage. So if you want to innovate, be sure to use all of the resources you have in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, trust me, you can make your partner an unofficial partner in that business, however way it works out. Because it's not for a select few. The least you expect to come up with an idea just might be the one to give you that idea that would move you to the next level. Now, lack of collaboration also affects innovation. Sometimes when you ask entrepreneurs, say, how did you make it? They'll tell you, you know what, you can borrow somebody else's idea and improve on it. Because really, there's very little that is new under the sun. Like there's nothing new under the sun. And that is the fact. So you can borrow somebody's idea and improve on it. Now, if you're running a business, know that it's not just for you. Whoever is benefiting from that business of service is your partner. So when you want to innovate, be sure to also get their input. Somebody there, it might be your customer that would have an idea that would push you to the next level. It might even be your competitor. So you're already, for example, the person is doing pickup. I'm in laundry business. He's already doing pickup and delivery. So but he always goes to deliver maybe every other day. But you can do same day delivery. That is an innovation. So you fix that idea from your competitor and you've improved on it. So collaboration is also a way to push innovation. Most times, we operate in silos. We believe, look, it's not my job, it's Mr. A's job. We believe it's Mr. B's job. Challenge of innovation that I want to highlight is the missed customers connection. So most times we do not get feedback from our customers, and that's the challenge that most businesses have. You put up things because you think you know what your customer wants, but what you think your customer wants, it really is not what your customer wants. So the only way for you to actually know what your customer wants is to talk to your customer. Talk to your customer and get your customer's input. Your customer's input into your business will definitely help you to improve on your business. So innovation, someone say it's that simple, right? Why then do we not innovate? Why then do we not innovate? Why then do we not innovate? Why do you think people don't innovate? I want your inputs. You can either speak or you type in the chat box. Why it's difficult for us to innovate? Why don't we innovate? I'm waiting for him feedback. Why do we not innovate?
Yeah, hello.
Yes. Ruth, go on.
To me, I feel we get discouraged from our competitors. Many a times we see other people that are into the same line of businesses with us doing better because probably they have the capital and they can do better. And we just feel discouraged and relaxed. And we don't want to give it that push to try our own best to give it a try. But I just feel we feel intimidated in a way, and we just look at it that he's doing better. I cannot get there. It takes a long time. It takes years. It can take years. It can take a longer time. So you don't feel motivated. Let me say motivated to do it.
Okay, so this I get from you lack of motivation, discouragements, and intimidation from competitors. Okay, so any other person? Anybody else with input on why we don't innovate?
Did you say why we don't innovate?
Hello. Sorry, President. Chidiogo,
Yeah.
I want to take permission of excuse, but before I do that, I think what the major reason why people do not want to innovate, number one, people like their comfort zone, and also people do not want to spend. They do not want to make sacrifices. That's the word, because innovation comes with sacrifices. Like they always say, great responsibilities comes with great changes. So basically that's it. Because innovation would require you to put in more effort, more sacrifices, and then most times it's very, very expensive. So that's why people do not want to innovate.
Thank you very much, input TJ. Thank you very much, Ruth.
Yeah,
Thank you,
for
TJ.
me, I think people are scared of innovations because of the risk. Sometimes there are lots of risk involved in taking a new step or taking a change. Fear of, oh, will these people that have been with all this, will they come along with me? Will they accept us? Also, and fear of risk, fear of acceptance. People might like, oh, we can't go along with this kind of change, and that could lead to not wanting to make any change at all. I think for me, these two things are key factors why people don't innovate, so people don't want to go into innovating a new thing in business.
Thank you. I mean, the 3 people that spoke have basically calculated what I have. So people will tell you I don't have the time or money to waste on ideas that are not proven. Why would I want to waste my money on something that I'm not sure will work? Right? That's big. So that's like the risk and return. Some people say innovation is a complex process. Some people will tell you, look, my business is based on what is currently on ground, the current process operations. Why do I want to change?
Deciding.
You know, say why risk it when business is doing just fine? If I then go into it and it doesn't work out, why take that risk? Vivian has said, risk. Someone will say, I attempted innovating once, it did not work out. Why do I want to repeat it? And sometimes we're so short-term result driven that we are forced to put off for the future good ideas whose time has come. The truth is sometimes we're actually forced, situations force us to innovate. Most times we are not proactive. So the whole pandemic has forced us to actually think about how we run our businesses. I'm very sure if I talk to business owners here to say, before now, would you have thought about, so if you talk about schools, TJ for example, would you have thought about virtual learning? I mean, that's a concept that's been in a topic of conversation for a long time, but it did not materialize until the pandemics came. And people are forced to think about how to survive in the new normal, how to ensure that students are educated, to ensure that the education of our students are not cut short. Now, for business owners, Ruth, for example, I ask you, outside of this pandemic, would you have thought about the pickup and the delivery? Would you have thought about the discount? Would you have thought about giving your customers a bottle of Coke if they do business to you beyond a certain amount? Probably not. But the new normal has forced you to begin to seek out ways to have an advantage over your customers, or your competitors rather. So sometimes we don't see reasons why we should innovate, because we feel like I'm okay here, this position where I am comfortable. I'm making money from my business, I am surviving, I am not lacking, I'm not borrowing money from anybody. So why do I actually need to change my business dynamics? Something that I am not sure will work. These are basically, there are so many excuses people give for not innovating. But let's limit it to this. Now, I want to bring us to do a sort. You know, when we talk about innovation, so there's innovation, there's invention, there's creativity. Sometimes people mix this up, people use them interchangeably, but they are different in their own way. Creativity is the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. So I thought of an idea, okay, so how do I go about this? Oh, so let me use Ruth's business, the laundry business. Creativity, okay, so, I can actually give a discount to customers who do transactions beyond 2,000 and give them a bottle of Coke, a bottle of drink. That's an idea. If I bring it to reality, this is something that can work. Let's even do it and see how far. Now, invention in itself is actually then creating that idea or that concept, make it real, to say, you know what, this is not going to just come from my head. I have to practicalize it. I have to actually now implement it. Okay, so I will do this as a business model. Innovation comes in when that concept or that business has been turned into a commercial success. That means you begin to see returns on it. So innovation is completely different from invention and creativity. Innovation, that invention that gives you returns. That's the difference between these three. So when somebody says, I've come up with an invention, that is, you have not innovated until you begin to get returns on that invention. So let's very, that's the differentiation that I thought it's important to do at this point. Today, we're basically just going to, it's introduction to understand the different types, the phases, the challenge, why we would rather be reactive than proactive in terms of innovation, and to understand the difference between creativity, invention, and innovation. In our next class, we're going to go through the process of innovation end to end. So we're probably going to take a business, going to analyze it and see how to innovate end to end phases of innovation. I would conclude by saying that when you innovate and it does not work out the first time, use the words of Thomas Edison, the American inventor, to console yourself and say, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Because the truth is, before he came about his innovation, yes, he tried and failed and failed and failed. But if you try once and you fail and give up, then you would never make it. Because at the point where you give up just might be that point of breakthrough for you. So if we really want to be innovators, if we want to have that edge over our competitors and be the leaders in our different business fields, then we need to at every point in time we fail, tell ourselves, say, no, I have not failed. Different ways of not doing this. So if you go about, for example, root on your business, you give the cup, say, oh, this does not work. Okay, I've never failed. I've just realized that giving a bottle of drink to my customers is not the way to get that competitive advantage. Okay, so giving a discount is not the way to get that competitive advantage. You get to keep brainstorming, right? You keep thinking of new ideas. You keep analyzing these ideas, implementing them, and see, out of 10 ideas or 10 implementations, one might just be the one to give you that returns. And that might just be the break you need to set you apart and place you on the pedestal that will make you stand out among your competitors. So let's begin to innovate. Let's shed off, take off that cloak of reactivity, and let's become proactive, because proactiveness is the way to go, especially in this new normal. A lot of people are thinking of ways to do things differently. People are all moving their businesses online. People are calling, this days, even the hospital will call you to ask, to say, oh, how would you want us to do this? Business owners will call you to say, oh, I am doing this. How would you want me to offer my service to you? Because when you begin to involve your customers, that way, whatever incremental or whatever idea you come up with would be that would have your thought process, but also the needs of your customers interwoven in them. So that when you come up with an idea or when you come up with an innovation, it will be accepted by your customers, and you begin to then get that return on it that would make you know what, yes, I innovated and I will keep innovating. Innovation is what would make sure that your business remains sustainable. Now, even as a person, you need to innovate to become better every day. There's something I believe in. I tell people that my personal mantra is Kaizen. It's a Japanese word that means continuous improvement. Because you cannot be static, even as a human being. The way you think, the way you talk, the way you act, you can't be static. Otherwise, you find out that you've been left on the tarmac. And then people who you probably will now be at the same level as maybe 2-year-olds who whole idea of life is eat, play, sleep. So think of ways to improve yourself as a person. Think of ways to improve your business. Think of ways to improve your family. Think of ways to generally, because the more you think and the more you come up with ideas that you implement, the better you become at everything that you do. So we'll stop here today and hope that when you go back, just think through. Don't just say, oh, the meeting has today's class have ended. Let me forget about it. No. Because this isn't, it's for us. It's for us. So you need to make sure that you continually innovate, think up ideas, think up ways to improve yourself and everything so that whatever you touch will turn to gold. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in today. It's been my pleasure to be your anchor person. If you have questions or you have contributions to today's topic, please feel free to unmute yourself and speak or type in the chat box. I'll read it out. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, this is me signing off and handing off control to the president. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you so much. I actually want everybody to unmute mic and say thank you to Chidiogo. It's really a wonderful time with her.
Thank you, Chai. Really appreciate the nice one.
Thank you, Chid.
Thank you, guys.
All right. As she said, if there's any question, please, we have room to ask questions now. Or if there's any, so if you have question, just raise up your hand. Just unmute your mic and ask, please. Questions? And if your question is actually a personal question that probably you want to ask her one-on-one, you can actually go to her box, just DM her or chat up with her or call her. She's always free to attend to anybody. She's a person of everybody anyway. And
everybody's person.
Lastly, I would just want us to, I'm sure, I don't know for all that, but I'm very sure for me, for myself, I know that this class has actually innovated my thinking anyway, and to do things, to do things differently. It's actually changed my world. I didn't even expect things like this to come out from Chidiogo, but it's actually a wonderful class from you. Thank you so much. I actually want us to. I don't want us to enjoy this alone.
Thank you.
I actually don't want us to enjoy this alone. I actually want us to encourage people in the house who are just looking at it. That what are they doing? What are they saying? I don't have that job. Let's put our review. Let's put our review to the house. Let's put what we felt about this class today, so that I can encourage them for them to actually join us on the next class. Next class will be in 2 weeks' time, so they can actually be part of what we're doing here. So that we can enjoy together. So let's share our comment. Let's share our review to everybody in the house, and let them understand what they are missing. It's not about data, this value is more than just so let's actually encourage them to be part of this program. I think we've done wonderfully well. Thank you everybody for joining. I'm really grateful. I can see everybody. I can see Limon, Vivi, Femi Olukoya, Felix.
Thank you.
I can see you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
No problem.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Looking forward to the next class.
Yeah, before we leave, there is attempt 7 anyway. If you want it, please, I can share it online.
Please start sharing it. Start sharing it. I can't wait.
All right. See you guys in 2 weeks' time.
All right, everyone. All right, yeah.
Thank you so much. Guys. Have a good
night.
All right, people. Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Yeah, Malik. Hello.